Ojo. Seguimos con Disco Elysium. Importante, ¿eh? Modo streamer. Streamer de 0 visualizaciones, 1 visualización, hasta 10 personas me pueden seguir, yo que sé. Cerete, lo sube a YouTube y me pilla los derechos de publicidad, pues los que tienen los derechos de la banda sonora, obviamente. Así que, importante, pon esto. ¿Qué ves tú? Que voy a tener 17 visualizaciones. Pero, se lo merece. Vamos a continuar. Este juego es un fumadote interesante. Interesante, ¿eh? Ya de primeras, a ver dónde estoy. Pero espérate, tío. ¡Wake! No me acuerdo muy bien ni por dónde iban. No me acuerdo bien. Pero vamos, algo haremos. Aunque sea dar vueltas, ¿no? Un crack, ¿eh?
A simple little cadence. He seems to be making it up as he goes.
From another planet. Hey there.
¿Qué pasa?
It's the jam, my man. It's a traffic jam for the ages. Harbor gates up the street are shut tight. No explanation given. Workers on strike.
Los esquiroles están alborotados.
All around cluster.
Pifos, tío. No saben ni dónde se han metido.
Meanwhile, we're all stuck here in long haul limbo for days upon days upon days. Upon days.
Upon days.
Feels like forever. Like I was born on this here roundabout and this was all I ever knew. Just me and the metal and the tires, the oil and the fumes of mazout.
Quizás puedes llegar a saber quién coño ha pasado, quién coño ha colgado ese tío, si se ha colgado él solo, algo. ¿No? ¿Te suena? Está un poco más para allá, un árbol, un tío.
Yeah, imagine. It's been a whole week already. So tell me, what do you need?
Me está pidiendo pasta. Ojo,
It's like whatever's going on over at the docks. Workers got a blockade set up, making demands, no way in or out. Some pretty wild stuff, I hear. Like a giant new power crane in half the company. I forget what exactly. Good on them, I guess.
Hombre, yo qué sé. Tranquilo. No me molesto tanto, ¿no? Tú siempre Tranquilo, no, siempre molesto.
I've heard talk there's a company rep in town too. Like a strike negotiator type. They know what's up.
Una tía representante de la compañía, negociadora.
Ah, yes, bueno. From the Wild Pines. We'll meet her soon enough, I'm sure.
They want to keep that money flowing in, my man.
Claro. Es el mercado, amigo.
Anything else? Yeah, this ain't really my area of expertise. I just do my job and get us lorry drivers.
Camioneros.
You still hang around here waiting for this mess to end. Most have scurried off somewhere to get drunk or high. Or laid. Not that I blame them, really.
Joder.
Not my thing. Chasing transient pleasures is a drag these days. I prefer the examined life now. Thinking, reflecting.
What's better than chasing transient pleasures? The more transient, the better. When one's ended, you can get onto the next one.
Mm-hmm.
He tries his best to look nonchalant, but there's a rigidity in him, as if trying to conceal something warm and deep beneath a cool exterior.
Jo, macho. Lo de la empatía esto. Si fallas puedes... ¿A qué hemos venido a jugar? Voy a fallar seguro.
Don't go too far.
Por supuesto.
This seems like a personal matter.
I'm okay, man. Just the jams got me down. The fumes, the chemical rainbows, the tarpaulin strap.
Maybe the full-on direct approach wasn't correct. Damn. It's tricky business looking into someone's eyes and not...
He ain't one of us drivers. I know that. All accounted for. Otherwise, I haven't really asked about that. Been wasting time right here.
It's easy to see he's telling the truth. He's kept his nose out of the dark stuff.
Analyzing the fundamental structural and psychological conditions of being stranded in the midst of a sea of motor lorries and their sad, despondent chauffeurs.
Chauffeurs.
Nothing.
Chauffeurs.
I'm just messing with you, man. Don't mind my idle verbosity. Oh, high-grade narcotics, illegal firearms, stuff like that.
Mis dieces. Muy bien.
Can't even get a few jokes past you, my man. I've got another haul of found cargo. Mostly sporting goods.
Oh, qué
tracksuits,
decepción.
that kind of thing. They usually get shipped to Grad and the Occident. Though we've been making headway in the Ilmoran market lately. Pals and all, but I can't just freely hand out the merchandise. The bosses won't be happy. Not unless they believe.
Pues está guapo, ¿eh? El tío este con chándal.
This rockin' beauty. Sure is. Like a rash you can't get rid of. You interested in heavy-duty cargo machinery? Neat. For carrying large quantities of cargo a long distance. These found tracksuits need to find their way to the kid.
The man taps his fingers rhythmically against his arm.
De forma rítmica. ¿Para qué le voy a dar? Pedir pasta al pobre hombre.
Don't be a stranger.
Venga, hasta luego. Y por aquí se puede... ¿Cómo era? No. No. Vale, con la tabulación. Aquí sí que puedes venir, ¿no? Vale. ¿Qué es esto? Un Manox.
An old monument stands in the middle of the traffic island, pointing toward the sea. It looks as if it's been reassembled piece by piece.
Mola.
A silver plaque on the statue's pedestal reads,
The Rochable.
I am Philip III, the Squanderer, the greatest of the Philippian kings of Revachol, son of Philip II, the opulent, father of Philip IV. Even by the standards of the Philippian kings, old sumptuous Philip was known for his profligacy. Well, he blew through the whole national treasury,
Dilapidando la fortuna.
one of the penultimate century's greatest superpowers, the suzerain of Revachol. His own maladministration foreshadowed the fall of the monarchy. During the anti-centennial revolution, an end to his family line and the monarchy on the Insulindian Isola. Stories
¿Qué iba a
have
decir?
that he had his bedroom converted into a treasure chamber where he stored unfathomable wealth. Krugerrands, bars of gold, ornate weaponry.
No sé si la pasta esa está por ahí.
Sol Auron. It was obscene. There were whispers
Como un
he
dragón
slept on
obeso.
a huge pile of gold-dipped feathers, like some obese dragon, instead of a bed, like a normal person. But wait, you haven't even heard about his fabled cocaine addiction.
¿Cómo?
Old Philippe wasn't just
¿Cómo?
in the national treasury on gold and ceremonial weaponry. He was also a prodigious snorter of nose candy.
Esnifador de golosinas para la nariz prodigiosa.
Not
Bueno,
just any nose candy, though. We're talking Royal Philippian Blow, allegedly twice as potent as the stuff you find
Joder, chaval.
nowadays. And
Púrpura.
purple. Philippian cocaine was purple.
joder,
Cocaine.
te lo acababa de decir. Juan Carlos, tío, ¿por qué le das?
That's what the revolutionaries said 150 years later.
Le vas a dar a todos,
Right
¿verdad?
before they entered out the royal mausoleum and
A la 2 y la 4
built His
también.
Majesty's mortal remains in the Insulindian Bay. His Majesty's courtiers said it helped him connect with the higher realms beneath the cold waters of the Insulindian Bay. The original was blown apart by communards, then further damaged during the landing. Some years ago, a group of liberal, artistically inclined individuals, designers mostly, thought it would be ironic to restore the statue of the most wasteful ruler of Revachol in the poorest part of the city.
Hijos de puta. Irónico, ¿sabes?
The
Eso no se hace,
statue
hombre.
is supposed to capture the moment it was blown apart, like an instant frozen in time, a rare butterfly trapped in amber, floating on a sea of shit.
Es que está guay, tío. En plan de, bueno, va, venga. Derrochador este aquí. Como el mogollón de sitios aquí en España también. A ver.
People in Martinaise tend to agree, as do many prominent art critics and thought leaders with more nuanced social awareness. Philip III, the Squanderer, however,
Experiencia.
with his bronze face up in the air, doesn't seem concerned about what the hoi polloi think of him in death.
Pero ¿cómo que quién es este tío? Ah, vale, pero eso ya lo veo. Estoy pillando el tino yo a esto, últimamente. Estoy muy empanado con los juegos. Es la edad ya, es la edad. Vale, ¿esto qué es? Dime que puedo ponerme esa camiseta. Dímelo. Abstracción. Sí. Es una montaña. Ah, vale. Cada cosa. Es una abstracción. No, no, hombre. Estoy tomazao, macho. Me quito esto. Y es que estoy a lo tonto. O sea, es que tengo el mismo físico yo en la vida real. Impresionante. Somos como dos gotas de agua. Vamos ahí. Bueno, esta pante loca, sí, al menos. Hola, buenas tardes.
The wrinkled woman does not greet you. She nods along to something on her radio. It's the warmth of a winter night's fire. Maybe she could give you comfort and shelter. Some
Abuela.
cigarettes and food money. Maybe she's your... No response. Wherever this woman is, your words fail to reach her.
Wait. She's just a distracted old woman. Better to leave her alone. Why? I just told you why.
¿Qué pasa? ¿Que me tienes que decir tú?
No response. He just arches his brow.
Have you tried concentrating on something else?
There is a sudden, harsh edge to his voice, like he's tired of hearing about your personal affairs.
Fine. We should get through this day first. Off hours begin at 9 p.m. If you're still having trouble then, I can give you an orientation. Try work. The case at hand. It can work mirror, not a fan.
The RCM deploys a self-styled structure called the Decomptage as its chain of command. Every lieutenant is responsible for 2 sergeants and 8 officers. That means the average lieutenant has to deal with quite a few personal affairs. Even you know this.
2 sargentos y 8 agentes.
Really? You look fine to me. This psychodrama is unbecoming of an officer.
Clearly,
El tío llama Drama Queen.
lingering. He cannot fathom that anyone could drink so much as to retroactively erase their entire life.
Then you should consider seeking medical attention. You can use the radio in my kinema to call your station's Lazareth. Was there anything else you wanted?
Oh, macho, me da... O sea, lo doy bastante asco a este tío. No lo culpo. Dineros. Coge, hombre. Coge todo. Tú coge todo. Dineros. Y también. Primero cojo y luego ya pregunto. Bueno, aquí hay muchas cosas para hacer. Entonces están muchos más macizos que tú. Los hombres. ¿Gatita pone? No sé qué ponía, ¿eh? Igual que estoy obsesionado yo con... Con nada.
The tear machine stands in the corner. A sign says,
Oh, that's the tear machine.
Vale.
It's a machine for tear. You know, you find tear outside, like, you need a bag, I guess. We used to have some, but feel free to use it if you find...
Vale.
you see several packaged raincoats fill a low shelf beneath a display of croissants and
Ves un pavo, entra en la tienda con las pintas que llevo,
except for the big
con los guantes,
slogan on
con una pata de cabra. Y luego no sé qué hostia llevo en la otra mano. ¿Qué llevo en la otra mano? No me acuerdo.
The packages are small,
Uf.
discreet, sloppily stacked, making them easier to take unnoticed. No need to worry about knocking over a display.
What
Soy
is
muy
what?
pobre.
It's a raincoat. If you want to buy one, then it's only 4 real.
Solo dice. Pues que es casi todo mi dinero. Madre mía.
Your attention is drawn to the raincoats. Stealing one undetected will now be more difficult.
Puta, va a ser pobre, macho. Me voy.
A colorful display of cigarettes and alcohol bottles. There, in that dark green glass. All in vain.
Alcohol de uva.
Flowing river of warmth. Wine, alcohol. Beer, alcohol. Love, alcohol.
I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health. But I guess you already know that.
Más una constitución. Pues le tiraría la constitución más 100. ¿Y moral? No, paso.
Welcome to Frit. Feel free
Frit.
to look around or something. Everything is out on the
Frit.
shelves.
Y he leído Madre mía.
What's that magazine she's reading?
Las gafas, tío.
I don't know. Frit? A 7 to 11 grocery store?
Hmm.
I think they think that the extra tea makes it funkier. You mean this? This is Pop Stars.
Pop
It's got,
stars.
like, famous people in it. It's not for sale.
Vale, tranquilo.
Looks like it also has something called Police de la Mode, featured on page 34. This speaks to you.
It's where they rate different outfits famous people wear. It's kind of funny. They're kind of mean. It's about who's the most stylish. No, I don't think so.
We are not the
Vale,
fashion
y aún
police.
así educada.
We're the real police.
Okay. I don't really know anything. I mean, I know it's there, but not really. No. I didn't know him at all. I don't know really long.
Hoy no dice nada, tío. No sé.
No.
No
Sí.
need to worry. It's just standard procedure for us to ask around.
Okay.
Que ayuda, ni que nada. Venga, hasta luego. No me ha ayudado nada. Me marcho, hombre, me marcho. Ya, pero no quiero que me den una paliza. Buenísimo. A ver, tú. Te reviento. Una pan.
Guards! We have a right to work! Hold up and stay frosty, everyone. Cops are here.
You here to fuck with us? Beat the honest worker down.
Sí. Claro, he venido para eso. ¿Cómo no?
We're here to fight for a cause. Stripes usually have problems with people who have causes. Good. We're fighting for a cause here.
Right to...
Besides, we're not that different. It helps if people see us talking, cops and strikebreakers together. Rights of people, rights of workers, to have gainful employment, to make a salary, and feed their families. Maybe
Bueno,
you
yo
should
quiero
ask
preguntar.
them the questions, like why we're not allowed to make a living here.
Shame on you!
We
¿A mí?
have
Qué vergüenza, tío.
to feed you piece of shit.
Si yo no he hecho nada.
So do we, Scott.
Ah, mira, Dalí. Con el bigote ahí.
Have fun. Union shits are on full strike. Don't think they're going to let you through the gates. I'm trying to meet them. I know nothing about a murder.
Nada de nada.
As these harbor bugs, they'd do anything to...
Right to work!
It's shameful. Cops doing nothing. You should bring backup. Open up the gates for us.
We are not picking a side in this just yet, sir.
Pity.
Let us work!
When a bunch of ungrateful
Es una huelga,
lazy
¿sabes?
cockroaches can't get their act together, decide to beat me. They mumble nonsense about
When the man moves around, you perceive some serious abs underneath his tight-fitting shirt. There's something odd in the way he carries himself. His set of clothing looks vaguely mismatched. The different pieces of his shirt is far too small and an unpleasantly tight fit, while the overalls, held up by a belt, seem to fit a man with much more corpulence. He ignores your question, choosing instead to turn to the emaciated workers, raising both fists in the air. The clothes are obviously not his. Silence is the answer. There's something off here, but he won't say what.
Honest men and women
Interesante.
with rights to work, to be useful, not toys for corporate interests.
Corte de pelo
came here to
militar.
help the harbor run smoothly in time of crisis. If union fucks don't want work,
I have a question. Why do all these men follow your leadership?
you think they follow because I'm big and loud? No. They follow the rules of the market. The rule.
You've been talking to him for quite a while now. Something is off with this guy. Ask him where he's from.
What's it to you? No, don't think we've met before. I came to help out the people. We're all
Oh, no.
workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain in Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd jobs, heavy lifting, cargo hauling, bouncer work. I know the drill. Worked at Territorial. Ring a bell? Uh-huh. It was a long time ago. We were promised work. We'd be in there, working, if the bastards hadn't shut the gate. Main gate's locked. Would take heavy ordnance to bust it open. Could try to get in through the secretary's office. Door's locked. And I don't mean the scrawny mess punk either. I mean head measurer. Or what?
Ni de cabezas.
This guy standing up there on the overhead passage. Won't let anyone by. The act's bad. Standing on a narrow bridge, he's got a strategically advantageous position.
Ni de cabeza.
And he's trained. I don't know how the Union has a trained killer up there, but that one's no joke. And my men are tired and hungry. They're workers. Like civilized folk, you mean?
Sí,
These
claro.
native fucks don't understand
Gente civilizada.
civilized.
Obvio. Ahora vamos a reventar cabezas.
It would be better for the neighborhood if you went home, at least for now. If you can't get in,
No. They will
Well-
give up eventually. Or get drunk. Leave the button unguarded. Then we charge. What's it to you? Am I a suspect? Done no crimes. I only fight for the rights. We're all workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain in Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd jobs. Worked at Territorial. Ring a bell? We're done here. I have a strike to break.
Sabía que algo raro había con este tío. Y por aquí no puedo hacer nada.
Scab? I was just messing with you. No one's ever seen a cop scab.
Polisquirol.
Imagine, you cops going on a strike, but then another cop comes in and says, Speaking of, what brings the RCM here? To the wild north? Come to see the strife? Murder, huh? That sounds like a lot of hard work. You'd never see me investigating a murder. Of course, Policia.
Policía.
You can rule me out. Easier that way.
He didn't do it. It's the truth.
My friend, I respect the right to roam. The open range awaits. I don't operate in that capacity. I'm not a granter of passage.
If
Vale.
it's so simple, why did the scab leader warn you of the guards blocking the
right past Measurehead and go in. Yeah, the 2.5-meter tall Semini supremacist there. Walk
Voy yo.
right past him,
Pinta de chungo, tío.
then press the button to unlock the door, then go past him again, and you enter the arbor through the office. Está.
The man whispers a jaunty tune. A coastal breeze ruffles.
You know, serious business. I'm sure the big boss will be glad to tell you.
He's a chatty guy. Wants to talk about the strike. Return once you've met the union boss and are on a better footing with the organization.
You know, serious business.
He's a chatty guy. Wants to talk about the strike. Return once you've met the union boss.
Sure thing, my friend. I can help you out.
Venga, va. A juego.
The coin
¡Vamos!
to your hand as if it has always belonged there. The swallow returns.
Always glad to help out the RCM. Shame I can't. You know, the winter's fat is slowly running out and all. Still better than scabbing, though. Nothing to worry about, really. The jam's a bit of a mess, cargo can't get it. Aye, you lost me there, Honcho. But it's okay as long as you're not a sorry-ass scab.
A ver qué hay por aquí. Autoguardado. ¿Quién sabe complacer a una mujer? Ah, están hablando de la pava. Es que está todo lleno de tías ahí con las Lumis. Qué crack. Hola.
Nobody betrays your degeneracy.
No le falta razón.
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays his degeneracy.
You have succumbed to Al-Ghul. You reek of it. An invisible sword of Al-Ghul emerges from your throat. You cannot see it, but others can. It is make. No,
que sí.
you don't. You need to get another drink. Occidental haplogroup B4. Jerking motions. Signs of a late-stage neurodegenerative disorder. How far the Occidental haplogroup has fallen.
Pero este está muy colgado, ¿no?
You gave the world eugenics. You dominated lesser cultures, like the deformed Himians and the inexplicably potato-obsessed Quakers. But you will be superseded. Isn't that right, babe?
It is, baby, yeah. You
Churri de cráneo métrico. Lo había visto. De la churri.
There is a button right behind him, just out of reach. It must be the one that opens the door to the harbor.
Enough with this begging. You should bring your troops to the Seminine Islands and to Boogie Street.
La calle Boogie.
Pulverize you. When the walls will be lined with bottles of Al-Ghul, your beloved beverage. Inside, we will store the odes to homosexuality called art, and your microcephalics. Racists are generally not very good examples of I am not like them. I am craniometric perfection. I have taken the trouble to permanently draw a phrenologic grid. You exhibit forward projection of the jaw, indicative of schizophrenia and sexual
Poca fiabilidad sexual. Pero ¿por qué, hombre? Si mira que
standpoint, the dimple in your jaw makes you
soy el culmen de la raza humana.
This
Mírame.
is not craniometry, just an observation. It
Más, más.
is impossible to see any more of
Joder,
your bone
está cayendo.
structure. It is covered in the ravages of Al-Ghul. From what remain of your features, I can see. This leads me to conclude you are not a police officer. You are a common criminal. An offspring of your racial heritage is uninteresting. It is the same as all Revacholians. Your parents and their parents made the decision to reproduce while under the...
He's right there. It's almost impossible to get it on unless you're both drunk. It's too scary when people are sober.
Don't be vulgar. White or not has got little to do with this. The race enigma runs much deep. Mr. Claire is a man of vision and means. He has also to serve is noble. It takes discipline. Your petulant individualism has only contributed to your race failure. It is lax and moronic.
El comunismo mola mucho. El comunismo mola mucho. Mi rollo es el individualismo. O un poco sí, ¿no?
Jam. Individualism. You have gotten these ideas from degenerate youth culture. Rock and roll is morbid. Only coicus. I am not surprised you enjoy it so much. This has happened to many of the side products.
Semenese.
The South Island race, haplogroup A4A. We are the rightful masters of it.
Madre mía, este que se ha metido.
I am a descendant. The narrow streets of Elysium are with me in my genetic dreams. I see young Simone's women walk into the grey mass on Ile-de-Fontaine. No.
Entonces, cabrón.
I've heard about it on the radio. I'm from Couronne. And no, you have heard enough about our phylogenetic secrets for today. You have extinction to come.
Noquearlo, tío. A ver, tengo un 28%. Que me encantaría noquearlo primero. Venga.
You must be out of your mind, degenerate drunk.
Your fist cracks in his
Oh, que me has reventado.
pain shoots up into your brain.
The words to the song have changed.
Your hand twists in his grip and the pain.
Good. Now leave before you humiliate your
Uy, que me he reventado aquí.
organization any further.
Que te jodan, tío. Puto subnormal. ¿Tú qué? ¿Tú di algo? Pues le tenías que haber pegado un tiro en la rodilla.
I'm not even sure the one bullet my chamber holds would even prick that hug. And you're just going to let him manipulate you like that? We are not here on some political quest. We are here to solve a crime.
Soy un héroe.
Don't make the situation. We are not here on some political quest. We are here to solve a crime. Don't make the situation.
The lieutenant groans. That's right. You should do it again.
Buah, le meto otra vez ahí. A ver, ahora.
His descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let
He subido un 42%, tú.
I don't think anything about it.
Your pedomorphic friend is right. You should leave here with your tail between your legs, contemplating race extinction.
¡Vamos! ¡Reviéntale!
I am an immovable obstacle.
¿Cómo ahí? En toda la nuez. ¿Qué ha pachado? ¿Qué ha pachado?
Just like that, instinct took over. A solid strike straight into his throat.
A ver si me lo he cargado, chaval.
Gasping for air, time time stands. All you hear is a small gurgling sound as a trickle of blood appears on the man's lip.
Hombre, pues. Ah, yo le reviento ahí. ¡No!
Oh God. Wrong move. Your head is in his hands, like a pair of forceps.
You know the words. I am a degenerate drunk.
You feel something in your chest, an unnatural pressure. It's spreading to your left arm, your jaw. Very, very bad. All you feel is pain and weakness. Christopher's final heart attack, a detective lieutenant of the RCM, passed away yesterday. His death, though abrupt, did not...
Bueno, y así el juego se acaba y...
He was the heaviest drinker I'd ever met. Captain Ptolemy.
Cago en la leche. ¡No! Lo quería reventar, ¿eh? Bueno, al final hay que decir... Sé que decir soy un puto borracho. Para que no me peguen, pues oye, habrá que hacerlo, ¿no? No sé. Sí, esta también, por aquí.
Buddy,
Yeah, Measurehead. His body.
are you admiring my... It must be frightening to stand in the shadow of this racial. That is precisely the negligence. You reek of it. An invisible sword of Al-Ghul emerges from your throat. No, you don't. You jerking motions. You gave the... You dominate. You will be super...
It is, babe.
There is a button right behind him, just out of reach. It must be the one that opens the door to the harbor.
It is my task to keep the That is right. Bring your troops. The walls will be lined with bottles of Al-Ghul, your beloved beverage. Inside, we will start. Don't be. Mr. Also, to serve is noble. Jam. Individualism. Oh, I am not surprised you enjoy it so much. This has happened to many of the side products of
Solo provoca herpes neurológico y sobredosis de heroína.
of the Seminoles race. What you need is to come to terms with extinction and never getting into...
Ask what kind of races there are first. Classification is core to this stuff.
Bueno.
Do you? The lieutenant looks toward the harbor's electronic door.
You are obviously a liberal. So there are three categories of race. Type A, the heroic races. Type B, the servile races. And the vile CF race cauldron of pederasty. Which one do you need education on?
Hervidero de la pederastia, por favor.
Those are the Seminoles, the Areopagi. A receding genetic pool has led them out on reprehensible. The Vespertines and Messenians of Vesper and Messina. The ancient, the other large Mondial civilization, the Mesk, are too yellow and oleaginous to count as a hero. Overproduction of sebum. Sebum is leaking into their brains, making them listen to El Mariachi music and eat
Mariachi
driven by the moon
music.
and the Mesk. Occidental type A is in
Madre mía,
retrograde. The Seminoles and the Areopagite are on the ascent. The Areopagites are sleek, long-headed. The The Simonese are powerful, mesomorphic. The former is an immutable progenitor, unchanged since the Super Isola of Perica. The latter is perfected and adapting. Together they form the Simeno-Aripagi.
Nature was not capable of more.
Type B hard. To an untrained eye, think
Un macho, tío, de verdad. That's right.
82,000 years that we've been recording history. You have very little idea of what is happening. But that seems a little off.
The revolution came to Ravachol from Grad in Sarah's written potato cards. It is literally the revolution is fatal familial insomnia. A hereditary condition passed from the Khoico to the enough of Tibet mediocrity.
En serio, tío.
Tips the F are a museum of failed chimeric experiments. It would be cruel to entertain ourselves with you understand nothing. To solve the great race enigma, you have to first ask yourself, what is the race enigma? We will see.
Access to the Union is important for our investigation.
Am I mildly worried he might take it seriously? The lieutenant thinks. Yes, I am. He concludes.
You need to internalize what you have heard here today, then return to me. This clarity does not come instantly. I cannot possibly imagine what else we have to discuss, Tibet Vacholian. Your love for disco music and venereal disease?
I don't think anything about it.
Your pedomorphic
Puto Kim, tío, no me ha ayudado una mierda este tío.
Leave here. There is nothing fun. Those a receding genetic pool has led them. You know them by the names of their nation states.
Langeses.
The Oranese,
Oh.
the Maun are proof that you can have too much Occidental racial people.
Colorful tassels are, let's be honest, not a good sartorial choice for this century.
The Vespertines and Messenians of Vesper and Messina. The other large overproduction, as proven by the Maun and the Mesk. The Areopagites are the indigenous people of this. The Areopagi, the latter is
Nature was not capable of more.
I cannot possibly imagine what Raci. I am not like them. I am craniometric perfection. I have taken your silence betrays your inferiority. You do not have a reply. You should enter it deep.
¿Qué hago, tío? Joder, que... A ver. Que te jodan, Kim. No hay nada por aquí, ¿no?
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help?
No me dice nada más.
Right to work! Right to work! Shame on you! Things are busy enough. You're going to waste less of my time?
The hulking man oozes stark skepticism.
Not before you get in there and get your ass whooped. Learn.
He might have some advice, but you got to at least try to fight Measurehead first. Return if...
Vamos, está hecho para que lo hagas un par de veces. Ok. Debía reventar, primo.
The unpromising race pupil returns.
Voy a caer como un conejo. ¡Pa! La risa.
How did this happen?
You must be out of your
Fist cracked,
the words to the song.
your hand twisted.
Good. Now leave before you humiliate your homoerotic organization any further.
I'd appreciate it if he... I'm not even sure the one bullet might chamber hold, and you're just going to let him We're not here on some political quest. We are here to solve a crime. Don't make...
The lieutenant. That's right. You should.
Venga, va. A reventarlo.
The unpromising race pupil returns.
No, tío. Estoy fucked.
It has happened again. The Titan.
Another fit of criminal rage. Who are you? In your own words,
Your fist cracks.
Nah.
the words to the song.
Hijo de puta.
Now go before you enter cardiac arrest.
Estoy fucked, eh. Me voy.
Stop the... Yes?
Voy a morir como un conejo, ¿verdad?
Promising race pupil returns.
Tengo que mejorar mi forma física. Ah, tío. ¿Tengo algo? No me pone nada.
The worn map.
No. Qué putada. O sea, no me dice nada más, creo.
Nice aggression with the native.
Not bad advice, actually.
Let's talk about our right to work. No, fighter. I'm a worker.
Pues ala. Había que intentarlo. Creo que no podía subir ningún punto ahora que los veo aquí. A ver. Ujú. ¿Dónde veo los puntos que tengo, tú? Vale, directamente no tengo, ya está. Vale. Vale.
Is this about the questions again? Because
A colorful display.
again, I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health.
Joder. Estoy fucked con todo. A ver si puedo subir uno aunque sea de salud.
Hello again.
The lieutenant not wait. Who's Sweetie?
You're a handsome man, officer. But dear, you're not for me. You must forgive. I'm Lena, my husband.
This Lena is wacky enough for the motley crew. Hire her on the spot.
Oh, sweetie, I heard your conversation with the manager about your...
You've got guns of steel and a chiseled jaw somewhere under the bloated alcohol layer. Maybe she'd like to sponsor you.
Hay que ser un hijo de puta. Venga, hombre.
Try to force
No,
her out of your
siempre fallo.
really rip into the whole emotional aggression thing.
Officer, get a hold of yourself, please.
Sweetie, I'm sorry, but I think you need more help. Oh, no, I'm so sorry. I don't have money for you. If there's... Yes, officer. You look rather... Oh, my. You know where we are, right? That's right. And where is the Whirling in Rags cafeteria? We're in the city of Revshol, dear.
Hombre, eso ya lo sé.
How would I even... I haven't... Speaking of history, you know what year it is. There.
She looks flustered. Her hands smooth. The lieutenant studies you, rubbing his... I'm beginning to suspect that you might indeed be completely adrift in this reality. Thinks...
I can tell that this is taxing for you, so I'll just ask one more question. What regime are we living under? What mode of government? Oh, sweetie. Revishol is a zone of control led by an alliance of foreign powers called the Coalition.
But they still have cops.
Oh dear, this is troubling. You really ought to know that, being one yourself. There aren't, but we should stop for today.
She's scared now. She's realized you really are brain damaged.
A defeat, I'm afraid. The people of this archipelago tried to build something new. It has something to do with everything. You didn't do...
A sigh. The lieutenant...
But maybe a fresh... someone...
No, I'm not an encyclopedia.
Of course. Then,
Joder,
I
chaval.
don't know. Someone rich, maybe? Of course, dear.
Tío, tengo que hacer muchas cosas, tío.
Yes, you. Word on the street is you're ready to start building. Yes, you're ready to start building communism again. You've built it before. They've built it before. Hasn't really good. We need tender men like you building. You keep saying things like, down with the bourgeoisie, eat the rich, sodomize the landowners, impale all people who have more than 25 real in their pockets.
Joder.
Murder. Oh yes, the mask of ambivalence. Don't deny it. Everyone can see that. So tell me, do you have any questions before we fire up the big communism builder? Or do we get right down to it? Failure. It's about failure. Yes, abject failure. Total.
Tiene que ver con el
irreversible
fracaso,
defeat
tío.
on all fronts. You alone, against every living thing, against every human alive. 800 trillion real in the hands of an impossibly well-organized ruling class. Towering city blocks of bankmen who have the ears of prime. You against the atom, the charm and the spin, where the whole world failed. Matter failed to bend to human will. Human will fail to get out of bed and tie its laces.
The last communism.
Now get to work, comrade.
Empezar a fundar el comunismo. Como que no.
Very well. I guess no one will build communism then. No objections. It's mathematically impossible to achieve. Did someone mention cocaine? Are we doing cocaine? No. I'm sure I heard someone say cocaine.
Cocainismo.
There's no one. Okay then.
Hostia, el cocainismo. Madre mía, tú. Qué crack. ¿Puedo pasar? Gira. Coger todo. Pero ya, ¿eh? ¿Qué pasa, tío?
A thin man is, as you step in, he nods toward the table and says something in a... Okay, it's definitely not his name. Whatever you do, please don't call him Garancy Quebec. Please. The man puts his cup down and replies something. His left hand drawing arcs in the air. He smiles and bangs his ladle against each of his pots in turn.
What?
The man ponders his cooking utensils and gives you a... He smiles and bangs his... He smiles and bangs his ladle.
Entiendo muy bien por qué haces el tío.
You see a heavy... You immediately feel drawn to the color. Blue is for mystery.
You do? It's a door in the back of the kitchen. Why do you care where it leads? Eccentric. But okay, Gart is the person to ask about this. The cafeteria manager.
The door does not budge. The cobalt blue surface feels rough to touch. This old cobalt paint, rough on the fingers. 40, 50 years since this was painted, maybe.
Uf, mucho. Me tengo que pirar sin... cómo me jode. No sé si me deja algo arriba, si no volveré, intentaré jugármela a meterle un puñetazo también. En vez del gancho de izquierda, o esperar, o una patada a 360 grados era, ¿no? Persanchi, ¿no? A ver. Nada. Venga, tío. No. ¿Dónde daba esto? ¿Dónde pillé el zapato, creo? Sí. Oh, macho. Vale. Pues sí, voy a reventarle. Que voy a fallar la tirada, ya verás. Venga, corre. Vale.
That sugary black rum stain on the counter makes you teary-eyed with joy. It's almost touching how syrupy and sticky it is. How an hour would have been bad. 2 hours is mystical. You have truly wiped out all trace of yourself if you haven't thought about rum and lemon. Maybe you haven't turned out well for your drinking. Have you thought about that? Get a goddamn rum and lemonade to yourself, boy.
Hostia,
What
que no me veo.
happened, man?
Tú antes molabas.
Get your drink on and your act.
Hostia, tú antes molabas, macho. Cocainismo. Joder. Impresionante. El último intento para entrar, macho. Claro, tonto, llevas 1 hora y dices, pues he hecho 4 cosas. Pero aquí no puedes entrar, ¿no? A ver, porque...
The unpromising race pupil returns.
Te voy a reventar. En toda la nuez. Ahí.
Just like that,
Eso es.
instinct took over.
Claro que sí.
A
Es
solid
una máquina de
strike
matar.
into his throat.
Claro. Cara de
Into the
psicópata.
cartilage. The man is reeling. Gasp. All you hear is a small gurgling sound as a trickle of blood appears on the man's lip.
Bueno, ¿esta o esta? Venga, ahí, reventar y patada. ¿Me va a coger? Ya verás cómo me pilla. ¡Uy! Le metí. ¡Qué reventada! ¡Vamos!
Lands with a dull thump, like a broken down
Disco Inferno.
muscles and sinew. For a moment, he still tries to keep his head up, dazed eyes looking at you with as you slam your fist on the button. The man collapses entirely.
Looks like you're the new measurehead now.
No one is the new measurehead. Let's go before.
A ver si lo puedo robar.
The man is still not.
Pues no puedo robarlo. Si no... Queda abierto. Abajo habría abierto algo, ¿no? Macho. Pues vamos a ver la mierda.
Went native on the chief, huh? Those ballerina antics were reckless.
Wrong. You did the right thing with Measurehead.
But let's talk about our right to work. We were promised work.
The physically
¿He abierto algo? No sé lo que he abierto, tío. Vamos aquí. ¿Esto? Oye. Vale, esa. Joder, pues no lo tenía tan claro, tío. ¡Es que inferno! Chun, 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 chun. Olo.
On second glance, someone has.
It's unfortunate for the Union to just leave.
Let's see what's inside, he thinks. The drawer opens smoothly. Hundreds of documents containing logistical data and the same materials being. It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the lines are getting
Voy a
blurry.
fallar como un
Whatever's
cabrón.
hidden
Venga.
here is hidden well. Concentration isn't enough. Only a trained accountant with a back. It appears to be a to-do list. Remember, Leo, Everard's shoes. Special whirling borscht. All items on the list have been crossed out, and the note itself is crumpled.
Everard Clare, probably. The head of the Debarders Union. One of his aides must have left.
The special borscht seems a bit odd in the list. What is so special about this? Remember, Leo, Everard's shoe. All items on the list. The drawer.
Cogemos todo. Mira, ya se me puede curar. Hombre. Pum. No puede ser. Voy a ser un molón. Yeah. Hostia, qué crack. Bueno, un montón. Venga, va, corre. Disco es tú. Hay algo abajo. Voy a bajar. Ah, bueno, no. Primero cojo esto. Venga, voy a coger hasta la capa, tío.
The tarpaulin cloak. As your fingers touch the tarpaulin, it almost feels like the cloaker wants to deliver. I will shield you from the elements and give my...
Que no puedo molar más. ¿Esto qué es?
The front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Friso. From the sides of his head, to your disappointment, there aren't. After rifling the page, the magazine is divided into several sections. International developments, Kunst und Kultur, and Lo Comrade. As you know, this journal takes its name from Mazov's immortal expression, Du Cristal a la Fumée. This was his, but
Cristal a la Fumée.
4 issues in, and it sounds like they've all so please, if you value our radical Mazovian perspective on contemporary...
What do you expect? It was laying around.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. This section, you also skip. Face it, you flip back to the front of the magazine. It takes a moment, but gradually it dawns on you that Kunst und Kultur.
Arte Cultura.
They decided to title this one section in it evokes a sense of recognition and fellowship. As you leaf through this section, you come across several reviews. The main feature, though, is a long essay. This so-called artist spotlight is really just a brief Q&A, made all the briefer by the subject's evident hostility. The actual article is surprisingly light on details, but after skimming, if you don't follow it, you only ever hear about the ludicrous sponsorships. You think you're settling in for a relaxing recap of the most recent. Instead, you find yourselves where to even start. For one, there's the crass commercialism of its sponsorships. And then there's the practically criminal emphasis on deadly motor crash. Under capitalism, the article says, every pursuit has its price. Every pleasure, even one as thus, the so-called top, and that precisely is what's problematic about it. Were it not for the promise of random, spectacular violence, audiences would quickly lose interest. At the end of the day, it's the destruction of these 750,000 real races that you're really watching for. You see, one cannot avoid the conclusion that Tip Top Tourney is simply the apotheosis of spectacular entertainment under capitalism.
I can simply say the thought never crossed my mind, detective.
No, pues no.
I'm sure most things are, if the young men who... If I had to wager, I'd say they've never even seen the inside of a motor.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table, unsurprisingly, much of this section is taken up with art. You skim the headlines. Paint the harbor red and white. Finally, there's a brief article by the writer, G. Martin, accusing the owner of the Cape Side apartments of illegally attempting to evict certain communist tenants simply for not having paid their rent. According to these editorials, there can be no accommodation. You flip back to the front of the magazine.
Ojo, lo acabo de decir la revista, tú. No. Vale, ahora puedo venir por aquí. Pues espera, que creo que había algo abajo. esto.
An imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. A note on the side says, "Tokens unavailable due to strike. Use change." The machine swallows your coin and seems to be waiting for your next move.
Voy a jugármela.
It's unclear whether you actually have muscle memory. Right now, your finger is just drawing vaguely occult patterns. Undoubtedly, no. Sure, why not? Nothing tricky about that. You just do, fail, repeat.
Pues la ha cagado. Bueno, pues sí, yo creo que ya lo voy a dejar ahí, que es un vídeo larguete, 1 hora y 16, ya vale. Así que Disco Elysium parte 2 nos la hemos ventilado. Me quedé a ir por todos estos... ¡Wow! Queda... Dejamos todo esto abierto. ¡Qué grande! Es que soy un pro. Soy un capo. Mira, es brutal. Venga. Hasta otra vez. Chao, chao.